Hello, and welcome from the University of Georgia Office of Research. Today is Friday, May 22nd, 2020, and thank you for joining us for this session of Research Matters Live on navigating SciENcv and ORCID ID. My name is Mike Terrazas, and I'm the Director of Research Communications at UGA. We look forward to providing you some useful information and answering your questions as best we can. Before we get started, I'm going to mention a few housekeeping points. This is being conducted as a Zoom webinar, which works a little differently than a Zoom meeting. Here's what you need to know. Attendees are automatically muted and cannot turn on their cameras. If you could, please wait until the end of the presentation to ask your questions, and you can ask them in a few different ways. You can always type a question in the chat and choose whether the question is visible to everyone, only to the panelists, or to a single individual. You can use the Q&A function, which you'll see along the bottom of your Zoom window. You can also use the raise hand function, which is also located along the bottom of your window. If you raise your hand, we'll assume that you want to ask your question by voice, and we'll call on you by name and enable your microphone while you ask your question. Next, we are recording this session, so be aware that not only are faces and voices recorded, but also all chat messages, even the private ones, so be mindful of what you type. We'd love to hear any feedback you'd care to provide about today's session, including suggestions for future topics. The Research Matters Live webpage on the Office of Research site has a suggestion form that you can access through a big red button at the top of the page, and we encourage you to make use of it. In just a minute, you'll see that URL pop up in your chat window. And finally, if you find this presentation useful, please tell your friends and colleagues. This is a brand new series, and word of mouth will be important to making sure the UGA research community is aware of it. So thank you for anything you can do to help us spread the word. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let me turn it over to our speakers today, Kathy Cuppett, Director of Sponsored Projects Pre-Award, and Tammy Childs, Award Team Manager in Sponsored Projects Pre-Award. Kathy, it's all yours.
Thanks, Mike. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time to join us for this Research Matters Live presentation. We're going to talk a little bit about SciENcv and ORCID ID. So what we're going to talk about is what are these things and why might they be helpful to you, as well as then do a short demo with some screenshots about how to set up both an ORCID ID and a SciENcv. Well, also, Tammy is going to show us how we can link a delegate or an administrator to our SciENcv profiles so that you don't have to totally create it all on your own. You can have someone help you with that. So what exactly is an ORCID ID or a SciENcv? So ORCID ID is a unique digital identifier for each researcher. It can link your work and achievements to you electronically. With an ORCID ID, you can link grants, manuscripts, publications, all kinds of different things online and electronically. SciENcv is then a research profile system that helps assemble professional information needed for federally funded research. It can use your ORCID ID profile as well as ERA Commons and other electronic profiles to help create a comprehensive profile and populate it in order to make biosketches for NSF, NIH, IES, as well as current and pending documents. In fact, NSF will require the use of SciENcv to create biosketches starting on October 1st. When we first scheduled this webinar, NSF was planning to require the SciENcv on June 1st. Yesterday at a FDP meeting, they updated us, the Federal Demonstration Partnership, that NSF won't require SciENcv biosketches until October 1st. So it gives everyone the summer to sort of play with this and see, you know, how does it look, how do they make it, work out any kind of kinks they might have. The benefits of using this for your biosketch, SciENcv, are that it eliminates the need to repeatedly enter biosketch information. So the SciENcv is going to compile all of those publications, all of your professional accolades, all of the things either that it has found online through your ORCID ID and ERA Commons profile, or that you manually entered and put them together in one place where you pick and choose what appears on each biosketch depending on the project you're applying for. It helps reduce administrative burden through exactly the process that I just talked about. but it also provides access to researchers to researcher claimed data. So that manual information that you enter, as well as your employment information, your expertise and your educational information, and your professional accomplishments. And then finally, it allows researchers to disclose and describe scientific accomplishments in your own words. So if you were going to apply for an ORCID ID, how hard is that and what does it look like? It turns out it's not very difficult at all. In fact, you're going to enter a few key pieces of information, your full name, an email address, and that you are not a robot. And you will be taken to a page that looks exactly like this screenshot, where all you have to do is click add employment, add qualifications, or add invented distinctions, invited distinctions and positions. You get a pop-up when you click those, and you just enter information. It's going to identify some information for you based on things that are out in the ether. You can link it to your PubMed publications as well as other sources online. For example, this already knew that I worked at University of Georgia. All I had to do was say, yes, that's where I work, and it populated a large amount of this information. The ORCID ID is something that NIH has used for a while. It is an older thing, and so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. It's also pretty simple. The more complicated thing is SciENcv, and so I'm going to turn it over to Tammy Childs so that she can tell you a little bit about that.
Hi everyone, so we are going to walk you through how to get started with SciENcv. You'll notice across this slide there is a website, so you essentially just go to this website and click here to get started. And then once you click on that, it's going to take you to a login. And so here you'll be able to choose either to log in using your ERA Commons ID, or you can also use your ORCID ID. If you choose to log in using your ORCID ID, it's going to make you verify your ORCID account. So it's going to create a pop-up box. And so this is what the pop-up box is going to look like if you use the ORCID ID. And you're going to click authorize down here at the bottom. And so after you click authorize, it's going to take you to this screen where you're going to get to make a choice. You either will create a new account if you don't have one already, or if you already have an existing account, you can link to that account. So you'll select the option that's most applicable for you and then click continue. If you happen to log in using your ERA Commons ID, this is what you will see. And you'll notice down at the bottom that it's the same choices as if you logged in using your ORCID ID. You'll select either to create a new account or select an existing account, and then you're going to click continue. And then there's going to be about a 5-second or so delay. And once that delay has passed, then you'll get a new screen that's going to look like this. So with this particular screen here, you'll be able to choose if you want to start with a blank document, an existing document, or an external source. This is where you can also, if you're using your ORCID ID, the ORCID ID can help populate your CV. And if you're having trouble linking the accounts, you can click on the documentation link and it'll take you through step-by-step instructions on how to link them. You also can select whether you want the biosketch to be private or public, and also not displaying on this particular screenshot, but above that data source tab, you'll be able to select the type of biosketch you want to create. So if you're doing something for NIH, you can select NIH, NSF. There's several choices right there. You'll be able to pick the one that you are wanting to create. Once you have all the options filled, then you're going to click create. And then you're simply just going to start building your biosketch. So the first part, regardless of what type you decide to work on, you're going to enter the basic information, which is your name, your credentials, your address, your email. And then you're going to move through the building of your biosketch. Here you can put in your title, your institution. And if you also notice down at the bottom, if you did not already link your ORCID ID and you wanted to, there's another option too. So there's multiple places throughout SciENcv where you can link your ORCID ID if you didn't initially. So once you have that basic information in, you'll move forward to the next section. So here it's going to give you that option to pull in information from PubMed. So you would enter in your PubMed item and click search PubMed. It should populate there. And then you can also enter in your degrees by clicking add one down here. Once you have that piece in, then you're going to continue to move through to the next section. So that will be, you can enter in your appointments the same way by clicking add one. And then once you have that, you'll move through to your publications. So you'll notice here on this publications part, there's a few more options. You can manually enter your citations if you want to, or if you had already linked in some of your information from PubMed, or you've already linked your ORCID ID, it should have auto-populated here. So if you had already done those things, your citation should have auto-populated here where you can actually just click on the 5 that you want to appear on your biosketch. If you're building an NSF one, if you try to select more than 5, it should give you an error message. And like I said, if you wanted to, you could manually enter in citations by clicking add citations here. It also gives you another option to link to your ORCID ID account if you haven't already done so and you wanted to. And once you have all your publications selected, and you have all the rest of your biosketch completed and you're happy with it and you're done with it, you would just simply go to download PDF and click download, or click PDF, sorry. Some cases, it's going to have like a pop-up like this where you can validate signatures. And if you get this type of pop-up box, you do want to click validate signature, because what that is going to do is it's going to place a signature on your biosketch. This is kind of like that seal that you've heard people talk about, where, you know, if you're particularly with NSF, if you are submitting a proposal to them and you're uploading your biosketch and you're curious about, you know, are they really going to be able to know whether I'm using the one from SciENcv or not, there will be this validate signature option. So you definitely want to click on that once you have your PDF created. And when you do that, this is what it's going to look like. So here is your PDF of your biosketch. You'll see that signature panel running across the top. One important thing to note here is that once you've downloaded this PDF and you've gone through this process, do not try to manipulate the PDF outside of SciENcv, okay? If you realize after it's been done that you have made a mistake or you want to change something, go back into SciENcv, log back in, and re-download the revised biosketch. Don't try to manipulate it, okay? One of the nice options with SciENcv is it's going to give you an option of adding a delegate. So this person can modify, they can view your biosketch, they can download it for you. It takes just a few seconds to allow people access. So what you'll do is once you've created your SciENcv account and you log into SciENcv, so you log into the main page on the right-hand side, up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see your ID. If you click on your ID, you'll get another pop-up that looks like this. You're going to go down to where it says Add a Delegate. When you go down to there, what you want to do is click on that link and then put in the email address of the person that you want to allow access. What the system will do is send them an email notice. They'll have to follow the information within the email notice, which is basically activating their access. If they don't have an account already, it's going to prompt them to create one. So once they've gone through that process, then they'll be able to modify, view, download your PDF for you. And if for some reason you need to change out people who have access to your biosketch and SciENcv, then you would follow the same process to remove people. So instead of selecting add a delegate, there will be an option on the right hand side that says remove, and then you can go through and remove anyone that you need to. So just a few helpful hints. We do recommend that you link your ORCID ID. It will really save you some time. You can link your ERA Commons account. You can pull in information off of PubMed. One of the great features about SciENcv is once you have this initial download of information in there, it's going to save it for you. So once you have gone through the process of creating it the first time and then have your first initial biosketch done, it's going to save all of that for you. So you can go back and pull that same biosketch, or you can create another one in a matter of minutes by just, clicking or unclicking a few buttons. So once you go through that initial process, I think you're going to find that it is actually will save you a lot of time, particularly if you're doing multiple proposals and you're wanting different biosketches for each proposal because there's different things that apply to each one. You can generate them real quick by clicking and unclicking a few buttons. Either way, whatever template you're using, do not manipulate the PDF once you've downloaded it. If you need to make revisions, it's very important. Even the person that's doing it for you, they need to go back into SciENcv, make the edits there, then re-download it. Okay, do not manipulate the PDF after it's been downloaded. And if for some reason SciENcv goes down, there is some type of system glitch. If you go into the new NSF PAP guide, there should be an active link there. So that way, if you have a proposal that is due that day, you still should have a way of being able to get to the approved format for the biosketch. And as always, if you ever have any questions about SciENcv, feel free to reach out to our office. We are all happy to help you. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm certainly happy to help walk you through any questions that you may have. And if need be, I will loop in anyone I need to make sure that we help you as much as possible. And here is a few helpful links on the next slide to SciENcv and ORCID ID. So if you do not currently have an ORCID ID, you could go to this website. You can request one, just follow the steps to do so. This SciENcv website is very helpful because there's also some more tutorials there. If you have some, certain questions, or if you actually want to see more screenshots than what is provided in this slide deck, there are additional screenshots there that are also very helpful. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back to Kathy and Michael if there's any questions or concerns.
Does anyone have any questions for our speakers today? You are a quiet bunch. Whoop, let's see. We've got someone who says, I may have questions once I poke around in the system. but not right now. I think everybody's
Okay.
eager. Go ahead.
Well, for that person, if once you get in it and you start playing around with it, feel free to reach out to our office. We'll certainly help you.
We have one question, a couple questions actually. Is the current and pending form update due October or June?
October. So it was originally June. That was what NSF was saying and has been saying, was that they were going to enforce this June 1st. However, that has recently changed with the agency, and now they're looking at enforcing it as of October 1st. However, I would not wait till October 1st to start playing around with SciENcv and building different biosketches. I would, go ahead and start that process now. That gives you plenty of time to troubleshoot any errors that you may be experiencing. Also gives you time to reach out to our office if you have questions or concerns. So it'll give you a little bit of time to prepare, because you don't want to run into a situation where you have a proposal due on the same day and there's something going on with SciENcv. So I definitely would start that process sooner rather than later.
Great, thanks, Tammy. We've got a couple more questions. The first thing that I want to do is the ORCID ID, and the second, the SciENcv, correct?
Yeah, I would recommend you do the ORCID ID first. If you do that, it does help pull in some of that information when you first make your SciENcv. You just have to make sure that you have authenticated your emails for both the ORCID ID and the SciENcv before you try to make a biosketch. I made the mistake of only authenticating my SciENcv email, and so then it did not pull in information from ORCID because it wasn't an authenticated account, since I made them on the same day. You do get those emails right away asking to authenticate. So as long as you do that, the two systems will talk to each other. It's very helpful.
Great, thanks, Kathy. And from the same questioner, the current and pending is also changing the template.
Are you asking if there's multiple templates for current and pending in the system? There are.
Okay. Another question, could you please expand on linking when SciENcv is down?
So when SciENcv is down, in the NSF PAP guide, there's supposed to be a link in there. To be honest, I'm not specifically sure what page it's on or what section it's in. You'd have to Google through the PAP guide. But my understanding from the agency updates is that they're supposed to have a link there, so that way you still can move forward with your proposal submission in the event of SciENcv was down.
Yeah, and I would just add, if you have any trouble finding that link, Sponsor Projects is happy to help you. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to use SciENcv, it is not working for some reason, or maybe you just can't get access to it, Sponsor Projects is happy to help you. We can find that link for you in the grant guide. We can hook you up with it. We can figure out what's going on.
Great, thanks, Kathy. Any other questions for our panelists today? I was going to say, it seems like everyone is eager to start the Memorial Day weekend. So I'll give you a few more seconds. Oh, we have one come in. When you submit to NSF, are you submitting a PDF created by SciENcv, or is it linking to SciENcv?
You are going to submit the PDF that you have done the signature on, that signature process, to NSF. It's not linking directly between SciENcv and NSF.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other questions? Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. And thanks to Kathy and Tammy for speaking with us. We hope you found the session informative and engaging. If you need to refer back to it, the session recording will be posted to the Research Matters Live website within the next few days. And please do make use of that suggestion form on the page if you'd like to provide any feedback. And we encourage you to spread the word about Research Matters Live to your colleagues and friends if you found today's session helpful. As a reminder, the next scheduled Research Matters Live will be next Friday, May 29th at 11 a.m. The topic will be Industry Insight, how our industrial research partners are responding to COVID-related challenges. This will be a panel discussion moderated by Crystal Leach, Director of Industry Collaborations for UGA, and her panelists will be Dr. Frank Millward, Head of Global Assay and Services Vaccine R&D for Boehringer Ingelheim Animal Health, and Dr. Sridhar Ranganathan, Research Technical Director for Kimberly-Clark Corporation. Thank you again from Office of Research, and everyone have a wonderful holiday weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.